Jordan Walker needed 6 straight home runs to steal the Derby from Kyle Schwarber in Philadelphia. He hit all 6. And once the new format turned the final 4 swings into sudden death, Walker never gave the crowd the miss it was waiting for. That is what made this more than another home run derby power display. Walker did not simply hit the longest ball or post the biggest early round total. He won because, at the exact moment when his margin for error disappeared, his swing became more repeatable instead of less controlled. Schwarber had already given Philadelphia almost everything it wanted. The hometown favorite hit 11 home runs in the final, opening with a 444-foot shot and going deep 6 times in his first 8 swings. With the crowd fully behind him, Schwarber had created a difficult number for Walker to chase under the Derby's new swing-based format. Sight turn, 9-2, 6-2 Zeno view. Walker had only psi regulation swings remaining. That meant he needed to homer on all 3 just to activate the rule that could keep his round alive. Under the revamped format, hitters received 15 swings in the semifinals and final, but a home run on the final allotted swing allowed them to continue until they failed to go deep. Sight turn, 88-9-58H. Walker homered 0-4, then swing 15. That brought him to 9 and extended the round, but it also made the situation even more unforgiving. From that point forward, every swing was elimination. One ball that stayed in the park and Schwarber would be the champion. Walker needed 3 more. He hit 3 more, 6 consecutive swings, 6 home runs, a 12-11 victory, and the first home run derby championship in Cardinals history. Sight turn 9-2-6-2-1 view 0, turn 9-2-6-2-10 view 4. TM Ply found his power at the perfect time. But raw power alone does not explain what happened. Every hitter in the Derby had enough strength to put a mistake into the seats. Walker was competing against some of the most dangerous power bats in baseball. Schwarber entered the final after hitting 10 in the opening round and 9 in the semifinal. Junior Caminero launched a 491-foot home run. Wilson Contreras reached 490 feet. Walker himself had already hit a 470-footer in the first round and a 468-footer in the semifinal. Sight turn 9-2-6-2 view 1. Power was the unter was the separator. The most common failure late in a derby round is not a hitter suddenly losing strength. It is the hitter trying to create more strength than he needs. Fatigue builds through the legs, core, and hands. The hitter feels the scoreboard getting away from him. He begins rushing the pitcher, pulling his front side early, or swinging harder in an attempt to manufacture distance. The result is usually worse contact. The bat may be moving faster, but the barrel is spending less time in the correct hitting zone. Instead of driving the baseball with backspin, the hitter rolls over it, clips the bottom of it, or sends a hard line drive that never gains enough height. Walker avoided that trap. His first round performance had already shown how naturally the ball carries when he makes clean contact. He tied for the lead with 13 home runs, and 10 of them traveled at least 420 feet. In the semifinal, 4 of his 6 home runs traveled at least 420 feet. Sight turn 9-2-6-2-1 view 1. That matters because to invent extra power in the final. At 6'6", with elite bat speed and natural leverage, his job was not to swing at maximum effort. His job was to preserve the swing shape that allowed his existing power to work. The scoreboard was telling him to do more. The correct adjustment was to do less. Stay balanced. Track the toss. Get the barrel into the zone. Trust that clean contact would carry the ball far enough. That is exactly what makes the final sequence so impressive. 6 straight home runs require more than 6 powerful swings. They require 6 nearly identical solutions. The timing has to remain stable. The contact point cannot drift too far forward. The hitter cannot become so eager to pull the ball that he loses the middle of the bat. And after every successful swing, he has to mentally reset, rather than react to the growing noise around him. Walker was doing all of that while Citizens Bank Park was waiting for him to fail. Philadelphia had spent the night openly supporting Schwarber and Bryce Harper while booing many of their opponents. When Walker reached the final, he was not simply chasing 11 home runs. He was chasing them inside an atmosphere designed to make every miss feel inevitable. But the crowd could not rush him in the same way it might have under the old format. That is the hidden factor behind the finish. MLB removed the clock from the Derby in 2026 and replaced it with a limited number of swings, 20 in the first round and 15 in both the semifinals and final. Every swing counted, but there was no timer, forcing hitters to immediately step back in and attack another pitch. Site turn 88918 search, Zurich turn 889158 search for a timed format. Rhythm often meant speed. Hitters wanted the next pitch delivered quickly so they could maximize volume. The challenge was surviving fatigue while taking as many productive swings as possible. Under the swing-based format, rhythm meant selectivity and repeatability. A hitter could breathe. He could watch the previous ball land. He could reset his stance and wait for a toss that entered his preferred launch window. The absence of a clock did not eliminate pressure. It concentrated it. Instead of feeling rushed for an entire minute, Walker faced a series of isolated moments in which each individual decision carried more value. And in the final sequence, that structure played directly into his greatest advantage. He could control the pace without losing the aggression of his swing. The turning point was not the home run that gave Walker the lead. It was the home run on his 15th allotted swing. Before that swing, he had 8. If the ball stayed in the park, the round ended and Schwarber won. Walker had to homer simply to earn another opportunity. He did. Then he had to do it again and again and again. The final 4 swings were not about chasing a total anymore. They were about repeatedly executing with the entire event balanced on one result. That is where Walker separated power from composure. A derby swing is not the same as a regular season at bat. There is no pitch sequencing, no 2-strike adjustment, and no pitcher trying to exploit a weakness. Winning the event does not automatically prove that a hitter will dominate major league pitching, but pressure still reveals habits. When Walker became tired and the stakes increased, he did not abandon the movement that had carried him through the earlier rounds. He trusted his natural strength, maintained his barrel control, and allowed the format to slow the moment down. That is a meaningful sign for a 24-year-old player in the middle of a breakout season. Walker entered All-Star Week having already set a career high with 22 home runs after totaling only 11 across the previous 2 seasons. The Derby did not create his emergence, but it gave the rest of baseball a dramatic introduction to it. Site turn 926210, view 3. For the Cardinals, says do not build identities around exhibition trophies, but they do build them around recognizable stars. St. Louis has been waiting for Walker's immense physical talent to become consistent major league production. Now he has a signature national moment attached to that development. He did not win in a quiet stadium against an anonymous opponent. He defeated Major League Baseball's home run leader in Schwarber's home ballpark after falling 5 home runs behind with only 3 scheduled swings remaining. That sequence will follow Walker far longer than the total number of home runs he hit during the night. Jordan Walker won the Derby with power, but he stunned Philadelphia because when 6 perfect swings became the only path to victory, he delivered all 6.